It is everywhere, all the time. Color infests our lives every day and everywhere. It can shape and form what we imagine. It is bright or dark, sharp or soft, even hot and cold. If we stop and think about it, we cannot control which colors come into our everyday lives and enter our narrow spectrum which we call life. Or can we? If we try enough, we can filter the colors we see. Our human brains are elaborate enough to channel specific colors if we want to see them. So if we can control which colors we want to see and when, doesn't that mean that color is impacting us psychologically? The answer is yes. Different colors can affect us consciously and unconsciously. Though we cannot see one color along with black and white, we can train ourselves to pick out individual colors. We are all affected by color. Some even have their favorites. But what exactly is color, and why can we see it? We need to be able to understand the eye before we can link the connection to our emotions. Optometrist Dr. David Neal of Cedar Falls is an expert on the human eye, as he examines them every day.
We're going to talk a little about the anatomy of the eye then, and so I have my classic drawing here that eye doctors like to use, and I'm drawing your attention to the front surface of the eye, which is the cornea. And the cornea is a solid material. It is made primarily of collagen. It's similar to your hair or your fingernails, but it is optically clear, and that makes it very unique. And we can have a long discussion about how it differs from the sclera, which is in fact histologically identical. They both are made of identically the same collagen fibrils, and one might ask, why is the white part of your eye white and the cornea clear? That's a topic for another day. Then light passes through an anterior chamber filled with a watery-based liquid, which is also optically clear, passes through an opening in your iris called the pupil, and that adjusts the size of the opening in relationship to ambient light so that we can control illumination in our optical system. Light is then passed through a clear solid, which is the lens, and then it passes through a clear gel so that it can be captured in the back of the eye by the retina. The purpose of the retina and its fundamentally amazing task is to convert light energy into electrical signal.
If we only have one light signal coming into the eye, then how do we have perception of color?
Perception of color then is because of the differing chemical natures of the three types of color-sensitive cones. They each react to different wavelengths of light in the color spectrum. And in that process, all photoreceptors, whether they are rods or cones, change the form of a single chemical from one form to another. And in the process of that quick conversion, a burst of energy is released, which is captured by a nerve and travels down the nerve to the brain and creates a signal that our brains can understand. And in the capturing side of that analogy within the human retina, we have three types of photoreceptors. One of them is most acutely sensitive to red, one to green, and one to blue. And all the colors that the human eye is capable of perceiving, and you want to be careful to say that the human eye can only see a limited band of the color spectrum that we know exists, but within the spectrum that we are sensitive to can be considered to be some various combination of red, green, and blue.
I call this album Red because I got the idea initially because I wrote a song called Red.
So we can see color in our minds, but does that mean that color has to be limited to just vision? Can color also have to do with other senses? Musical artist Taylor Swift believes so. Her new album titled Red explains it all, as she says that she associates color with emotion.
It kind of correlates all the emotions that I felt during a breakup to colors, like losing him was blue, missing him was dark gray. But it says, you know, the reason you can't forget about it is because loving him was red, which means it was bold, it was crazy, it was out of control, it was passionate, it was important. You know, to me, like, the red emotions are the most powerful ones on the good side and the bad side, you know, like affection and infatuation and love and warmth, and then on the other side you have like anger, jealousy, frustration, miscommunication, you know, like all those horrible ones. But I think, you know, no matter what side of it you're on, you're feeling the most amount of emotion you could possibly feel if you're feeling a red emotion.
T. Swift is not the first to do this. Even you might have done this at some point. It is this way of thinking that has no name, but is studied as color psychology. Color psychology comes in the form of many different factors. Let's try a couple colors and see if you can think in color. What emotions do you think when you see this? Sadness, depression, even sickness? Now how do you feel? Mad, tired, even angry? What about now? Joy, happiness, enthusiasm? Not all of you will think the same, but a study conducted at the University of Georgia in 2004 proved that most people can associate color with emotion. The study states that the color green attained the highest number of positive emotions at 95.9%, including the feelings of relaxation, followed by happiness, comfort, peace, and hope. The history of color psychology can date back to the ever-famous Picasso. Not too far off from Taylor Swift, Picasso had a red phase. They called it his red rose phase, where from 1904 to 1906 he painted various works with shades of red, orange, and yellow. Picasso was happily in his relationship with his wife, whom he met in 1904. This has been suggested as one of the possible reasons for his style of painting during this time. Circus performers and clowns appear frequently in the Red Rose period and populated Picasso's paintings at various stages throughout the rest of his long career. His happiness was reflected through his own warm colors. He also had a blue period. Picasso's blue period reflected a time of depression and sadness for him. Many of his paintings were very gloomy and still bring tears to the eyes of viewers to this day. Many prostitutes and beggars are portrayed in his paintings during this time. It is safe to say that the gloomy colors reflected his emotions greatly. So we have learned that color can affect your conscious and unconscious mind. But what if you could not only see color, but associate it with technical things, such as math and literature? What if you could actually hear color? Well, some people can. This is Rydian Talbot, a freshman at UNI who has a rare condition called synesthesia.
Synesthesia is this, it's like a sensory mix-up in the brain where one sense automatically and involuntarily triggers another sense. So like for some people it's like a certain word triggers like a taste and just involuntarily. Or like for me, whenever I read different letters, I just see their different colors. Or listening to music, or especially when I'm playing music, then I just see colors.
Can you give me an example? Like if I say number 4 right now, what color is that?
Red.
And number 17.
That's like green. That's in the teen family. And like the different decades and stuff have different colors. So like the late teens, the later they go, they get redder. But like 17, number 7 is green, and 1 is white. But you put them together, and because they're in the teens, they get red. And I don't know. Definitely how I played flute for a really long time, and especially in high school when I'd be like performing at contests and stuff with solos. A lot of they would be really hard because it's flute music. You have just like all these notes, but I would remember, like I was able to memorize my solos based on the colors. So like I would know the different passages. I'd be like, okay, the fuchsia section, and I have to remember, okay, there's a flat here because suddenly it gets like dark red, and then the rest of the section's in like pink. So it was really easy remembering accidentals and stuff like that. Some people are just like, so does the entire world just turn green? And I'm like, not really. It's just more like, yeah, I hear a note, I hear a song, and it's just the same, the same kind of association. It was just you see that color the same way you would hear a word and you automatically think of the picture. Well, you know, like the thud in the background? So like I see that, and that's kind of like navy blue. And her voice, whenever I hear it, is like compressed. It just is like tight. but because it's on like your phone, it sounds fuzzy, then it's like I see like it's like fuzzy. It's not what it normally sounds like if you have earphones in. And like when it zoomed out like that, then it was just like I kind of saw, yeah. It's a lot of like navy blue and teal.
Ridian has made a video to the song Some Nights by Fun, so we can experience what she sees when she hears music.
Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore.
Today, we have seen various ways color can affect us in our everyday lives. From the emotion of colors to the different ways we can see them, color has had many effects on us as humans. Next time you paint a picture or take that snapshot, think about what you are really seeing, or more importantly, what you are feeling.